So it's a bit of a tough adjustment in our house, but it's good. I mean, I have two other daughters, so my oldest is very into the baby, but my middle child, not so much.
It's based on a beautiful, really important book, and it's about a young woman named Lily who confronts the generational cycles in her life.
Hey there, drama darlings. Here ready to offer you the hottest tea in Tinseltown, and trust me, you're going to need a huge cup for this one. Now, if you thought the Blake Lively versus Justin Baldoni drama had already reached a fever pitch, you ain't seen nothing yet. Because guess what? Our gorgeous Blake, with her funny, powerful hubby Ryan Reynolds, is attempting a legal lockdown on Justin's lawyer. Yep, they're demanding a gag order. Oh, and in a similar catastrophe, Colleen Hoover, the formerly acclaimed author of It Ends With Us, has ghosted her entire Instagram presence. Yes, the crisis is genuine. The disintegration is irreversible. So snuggle up and brace yourself, because we're going to plow through every twist, turn, and claim whirling around this double feature of Hollywood scandal. But before we delve deeply into the whirling mayhem, do a girl a solid, like subscribe, and ring that notification bell, because after all, we both know you can't resist a good breakdown. Ready? Let's pour this tea scorching hot. All right, let's arrange the situation. Blake Lively, with the customary glossy hair and that constant wisecrack energy, and Ryan Reynolds, Hollywood's king of acerbic tweets, have just hit the enough is enough button. Their lawyers rushed off a letter to the federal court managing the Lively-Baldoni situation, practically asking, hey, can we put a gag on Brian Friedman, Justin's attorney? He's out here leaking tapes, putting out daily quotes, and purportedly supporting a smear campaign against darling Blake. Sound dramatic? You bet. Friedman, for his part, says he's doing nothing more than sheltering Justin from what he sees unfounded claims. But from the Lively Reynolds angle, Friedman is crossing lines faster than a paparazzo at midnight. They're citing harassment, revenge, and even unfairly tainting the jury pool. So we may hold a court hearing expressly to find out whether Friedman's mouth needs to be lawfully sewed shut. Only in Hollywood, folks. In case you're late to the party, this entire collapse started with a federal civil rights lawsuit from Blake, stating Justin Baldoni was, drumroll, harassing her on set, improvising intimate sequences that she did not sign off on, and making the setting absolutely poisoned. But Justin's legal army fired back with receipts, some in the form of text, conversations, others in raw behind-the-scenes footage. Their angle? Blake not only accepted to such situations, but led them. Think cameo, cameo, cameo. A top-tier star ignoring the official intimacy coordinator, reportedly.
I mean, honestly, the way that I get into a character is through their style. So it was more about who Lily is that was so fascinating to me, is that she's a walking, talking contradiction, yet it's perfectly harmonious for her.
The public undoubtedly absorbed this facts. Was America's eternal girl next door pretending trauma, or was Justin manipulating facts to gaslight the masses? The topic flared like 1,000 Twitter threads. But as you may expect, Friedman's Daily, press statements on how the audio refutes Blake's tale, increased the Lively camp's wrath, culminating in this petition for a gag order. Because plainly, the public court of opinion is overshadowing the genuine court. Now, let's discuss about the newly released audio Friedman so eagerly offered to the media. According to multiple witnesses, it portrays a lovely set atmosphere where Blake seems anything but stressed. In fact, some believe she's directing certain movements herself, like commanding Justin how to position his face, how to hold her, and whether to heighten the closeness. Friedman's stance? See, she's engaged. She's handling the romance. But the Lively side counters that the clip is out of context, cherry-picked to mislead. They say the recording just catches chosen occurrences, neglecting the greater pattern of harassment. So was it actually a gotcha clip, or just a sample that Friedman hammered into shape for PR? That's for the lawyers, and maybe one exceptionally anxious judge, to find out. Now let's go to the second star of this meltdown, Colleen Hoover, the best-selling author of It Ends With Us, who first teamed with Justin to transform her favorite novel into a film. She seemed to lavish accolades on him for depicting the story's delicate DV topic, But as the situation worsened, conjecture claimed Blake moved in, made good with Colleen, and brought her into Team Blake. Q fan outcry developed since fans remember that Justin was the first to propose the project. Fast forward to current, with the meltdown raging, and guess who just nuked her 2 million follower Instagram? Miss Hoover herself. She's done it before. Whenever disagreements develop, she logs out faster than you can say deleted post. So many are speculating. Is she hiding from the anger of fans who feel she abandoned Justin? Possibly. We do know. The last notable outcry was about Vis coloring sheets for a DV-themed book and a wave of questionable brand collabs. So sure, the drama treadmill continues on rolling. Now let's review the exact text from Blake's letter to the court. They mention not one, but 2 unique cease and desist letters they launched at Friedman. The first, issued immediately after. Blake filed a complaint with the California Civil Rights Department that Friedman discontinue what they describe a harassing and retaliatory media and online campaign. The second, clearly aimed at Friedman, said that he was making false claims against her.
A lot of it's my real life clothes or my husband's clothes or my girlfriend Gigi's clothes. I was borrowing some.
Wait, that's kind of amazing. So you have something of Gigi's in the movie.
Yeah, it's like a wedding, like something old, something borrowed, something blue, something new.
Wait, which one? Now I want to think of the scene.
Oh, I'm wearing her stuff all over it.
Oh, really?
Tons of like Bodhi, which is with the suit now that I'm wearing is Bodhi. It was meant for my husband, but I borrowed it.
His suit?
It was meant for him to wear, but it's so pretty. Look at it. You guys are not getting it in the shot.
Translation: Lively's team chose the diplomatic approach. Stop trash talking us in the press or else. Friedman apparently didn't comply, continuing to speak. Meanwhile, Friedman essentially argues, we're releasing info for the sake of, truth. And consequently, the problem rose to new heights as nothing screams, we're definitely out to bury each other, quite like repeated legal letters. If Friedman's name rings a bell, it's probably because he's represented other large clients in messy blowouts. People are calling him a media blitz specialist, known for safeguarding stars with F-buoyant public declarations. The lively Reynolds. Petition expressly cites Friedman's technique litigating via press statement, so it's not merely a one-off. He may be acclimated to playing the field in paparazzi-laden controversies, and that's precisely what's happening now. The problem is whether a federal judge will say, Friedman, hush, or if Friedman may keep parading all those homicidal receipts. Because, Friedman TE is a new website full of receipts, text logs, and secret recordings that debunk Blake's charges. The lively side regards it as pure propaganda. Friedman calls it transparency. The rest of us call it, where's the popcorn? And although the letter mentions the lively Reynolds gatherings, we haven't seen Ryan Reynolds openly weigh in on Friedman's daily bombs. Usually we'd expect him to send off amusing tweets about lawyers with big mouths or something, but this time he's remarkably silent in public. Could he be organizing from behind the scenes? Possibly. He may be concentrating on new jobs, or maybe he's letting the lawyers do the talking while he enjoys his aviation gin in peace. One can't help but wonder whether a Reynolds appearance may surface soon, like a meltdown-diffusing joke on social media. But thus far, zilch. And that merely stirs fans' attention because if there's one man who can spin a dispute with a well-placed joke, it's Deadpool. For now, however, hush is the word. In an unexpected twist, The Hollywood Reporter says sources close to Baldoni called the gag order request grossly unfair. They believe Justin has really lost hundreds of millions in discussions and 3 possible film opportunities thanks of the earlier negative news. Friedman simply wants to share video and text conversations to show the claims wrong. They claim the source slams Blake for initiating a takedown campaign and then seeking for a gag order so Justin can't fight back. It's the ultimate Hollywood. Irony: start a dispute, then hinder your opponent's defense. Real or not, it's the tale that Baldoni insiders are promoting, casting Justin as the underdog.
She said, just read it, because I was looking for movies that could be commercial and speak to the human experience. And
Were you reading romance novels?
And I had never read a romance novel.
Never?
And she said, just trust me, read it. So I read it, and by the end of the book, I couldn't even read the text on the page because I was crying so much. My wife was in bed next to me, and she's got snot coming out of my nose.
Whether the court buys it is another question. So, the video footage Friedman shared is making headlines. People who've seen it say it definitely undercuts Blake's chronology. But Friedman's promised more, including a potential website that would keep our correspondences and important videos. Imagine a full digital collection of behind-the-scenes drama from It Ends With Us. Friedman thinks it'll undermine her charges, but we should add gag orders, if issued, may limit Friedman from releasing anything further. So the problem is, will we see new unedited material appearing online like sequel episodes to keep the breakdown fueled? Or will a court place a gag on Friedman first? Tension is rising, folks. Now, about Miss Colleen Hoover, this isn't her first time being away from social media. She endured backlash for her approach to the film's advertising, including ill-conceived business partnerships and an embarrassing mistake with a DV-themed coloring book. She apologized, dubbed it tone-deaf, and withdrew from the fury. Critics argue that's just what she's done again. As soon as people ridiculed her for climbing on the Team Blake bandwagon, she went off of Instagram. Her message thanking Blake was something like, "You have been so honest and kind, etc." That didn't age well since Friedman's release tape revealed a contradicting account. So it's not surprised that Colleen, who's endured a flood of "how could you betray Justin" accusations, elected to depart. Will she resurface when the collapse calms down? Possibly. But this is certainly supporting the Colleen's a fair weather ally narrative. We can't overlook how some fans have never forgiven Colleen for the cringy promotion behind It Ends With Us. Partnerships with a nail polish firm, Olive and June, modeled after characters for a book about DV, many deemed it superficial. Then, a wear your florals and pinks for the film premiere vibe that looked more like a fashion splurge than a sorrowful reflection on domestic violence. It set a negative tone. Now that Blake's fury overshadows everything, some interpret this as typical with how the creative team, except Justin, may be focused on the erroneous element of an essential problem.
I was testing for a show that ended up actually getting picked up and doing very well. And I was one of two people, maybe. And then I get a call from my managers and my agent. They were both on the line, which means it's something serious. Right. Either you got the job or there's something wrong. Yeah. And they said, "So you were the choice, but the network said that your eyebrows would be too distracting."
Oh, what?
Oh no.
And then they went like, "So what can we do about your eyebrows?"
Another reason fans might be selecting Justin as the more respectful custodian of the novel's underlying meaning. If there's one consistency in this calamity, it's the persistent fan comments. Team Blake fans allege Friedman is purposely editing footage showing her in a terrible light, neglecting context. Team Justin watchers hail Friedman as the hero of receipts. Meanwhile, the neutrals sip coffee, shake heads, and wait for formal evidence in court. Because let's face it, Tinseltown loves illusions, and illusions love Tinseltown. No matter which side you're on, everyone knows this catastrophe is far from done. As Friedman famously indicated, we have more video, presumably locked and loaded. Meanwhile, Blake's attorneys are scrambling to secure that gag order. We're in the eye of the storm, ladies, but the next wave is undoubtedly greater. At the root of Lively's gag order motion is a legal conflict between Friedman's capacity to stand out for his client and the concept that Lively is being defamed. The letter mentions Rule 3.6 from the New York Rules of Professional Conduct, which bars lawyers from making statements likely to prejudice the case. Friedman argues that it's not prejudice if it's truth. So who decides whether side is actually lying or manipulating facts? We might see a hearing quickly. If Friedman is hit with an order, the breakdown might quiet down publicly, but the storm still rages behind closed doors. Or if Friedman persuades the court he's only rectifying faulty narratives, we may see an avalanche of further receipts. Either way, the tension is so thick you could cut it with a paparazzi's light. One question overshadowing it all: can It Ends With Us come out unscathed? Could people boycott if they believe a celebrity changed the narrative? Or, alternatively, may the drama raise interest so the film becomes a must-see spectacle? No news is bad publicity, so they say, but that may not apply to a production shadowed by litigation, reported behind-the-scenes romance, and a possible narrative twist. Producers might seek to reframe the campaign, concentrating on the film's significant DV topic, but the controversy is overshadowing everything. If Friedman stays unrestrained, future leaks can further overshadow the final. It's a dice roll at best, y'all. As we wrap up, we can't disregard the chance of behind-the-scenes settlement negotiations. No Hollywood collapse is complete without hush-hush conversations. Maybe they all sign NDAs, Friedman halts the PR war, and the image quietly surfaces a year from now. Or maybe we get a whole trial, replete with depositions, daily bombshells, and cameo testimony from famous celebrities.
We always tease each other. He was, after I gave birth, he was like, oh my gosh, if I lost you and I, went to the park with our 3 kids, I mean, think of the ladies I can. He's like, this is a horrible thing to say. And he's like, I mean, I've got a long list. And I was like, oh really? Because I just have one on my list. I don't have anyone on my list.
And then it wasn't funny anymore.
No, it's so much more of a bird. He's like, wait, who? And I was like,
and he's
think of
guessing.
someone.
Right.
Bob Newhart. I don't know.
Chaka Bannon, O'Reilly, Michael Jackson, either circumstance is ugly. Because if the collapse has taught us anything, it's that Tinseltown lives on drama, and fans love every mouthful. Also, watch for Colleen. Will she make a triumphal social eye? Media homecoming once the dust settles, or if she flips sides again? The speculation never ceases. All right, darlings, that's the tea. But do me a quick favor. Tap that like button. Write a statement about which side you're on. Team Blake, or Team Justin, or Team Stop the Madness. And subscribe for more breakdown coverage, because in a tale this jam-packed, I'll be back to feed your rumor thirst soon. So there you have it, friends. Blake and Ryan want Friedman muzzled. Friedman says it's an injustice, and Colleen Hoover's taken a social media vacation reminiscent of the kid who cried breakdown. Meanwhile, Justin stands in the crossfire, either champion or loathed, depending on who you ask. The fans, they're literally front row at the wildest Hollywood show in years, absorbing every new tidbit as the breakdown morphs and expands. In the end, only time, and maybe a judge, will decide if Friedman's daily exposures are true or merely a cunning spin. One thing's certain, It Ends With Us might go down in pop culture history as one of the most scandal-plagued adaptations ever. Because in Hollywood, the genuine spectacular generally happens off camera. Until next time, this is asking you to remain messy, stay lucky, and keep your eyes glued to the next collapse. Because if there's one reality in Tinseltown, it's that the biggest drama generally occurs after they yell cut. Catch you soon.